I'm Mark Sudonk with GSG. To start off 2024, we're going to start a new video series, and it's going to be called Back to Basics. And what this is going to cover are all the questions we got throughout 2023 on our screen print videos. Back to Basics is going to cover anything that's screen print related in production. First thing that we're going to start off with, and one of the number one questions that we had throughout last year was, how do I set up my print head optimized for the best print on my automatic press? So what we'll do today is we're going to go over the top reasons. It's not a 1 through 10. There's multiple reasons, there's multiple factors, and how to achieve that really good print. In future videos, we're going to go over how to select your squeegee durometer, what your screen mesh, depending what your print's going to be. But now that we have that done for this job, we're going to start with, we have our screen, our squeegee, and our flood bar set up in our print head on our M&R Cobra E press. Now, the first thing when you put your screen in, after you're registered, that you want to check is you want to check what your off contact is going to be. Your off contact is going to be the distance between your screen mesh and the garment or substrate that's underneath on your pallet. With this press, we simply drop our screen. To check our off contact, we want to make sure our screen rebounds after we press it down on the garment. What this allows is when the squeegee travels over your print image area, it allows the screen to release from the ink, so the ink isn't picking up any fibers, which can cause you to have a rough print. Now that we've checked our off contact, next thing we're going to do is our flood bar. Now our flood bar is at a predetermined angle already for the shape of it. What we want to make sure is that this flood bar is not pushing down into the mesh, because this can actually end up tearing your mesh. It'll force too much ink into your image area, and if it stops short at the top, you'll end up with a heavy deposit line from the flood bar on the top of your print. So what we do is we take an ultimate cleanup card and we just slide it right into the flood bar, and that's going to be the distance that we want the flood bar to be off of the screen. Next is going to be our squeegee. For this application, we chose the 75 single durometer blade. Now we have this set at about a 15-degree angle, so it's angled slightly, not really straight up and down. This allows us to use the sharp edge of the squeegee to actually push our ink through the screen. We don't need too much angle. A lot of angle leads to actually too much ink going through your image area. And a lot of times you'll use too much angle if you have a dull squeegee, because it's just not clearing the screen. Okay. Now that we've checked our off contact, our squeegee durometer, our angle, and also our flood bar height, next thing we're going to do is we're going to check our squeegee pressure. This is all before we actually put ink in the screen and we do our first print. The first thing I do after I'm all set is I'll go ahead, drop my screen, drop my squeegee, and set my pressure. I like to start at 40 PSI. This is just going to be a starting point to make sure my ink clears the screen properly. Then, if I'm clearing the screen at 40, I want to slowly back it off to enough pressure that I'm just clearing the screen. Now we're all set. We loaded in our ink. We did our first test print at 40 PSI. You can see we cleared the screen perfectly. So what we're going to do is we're going to back off that pressure, because we want to use the least amount of pressure to get our ink through the screen. You can see by the coverage on our print, we dropped a little too low going down to 15 PSI. So we bumped it up to 20 PSI, and we'll do one more test print. With too little pressure, you can see that we still have ink that's held up in the image area, and this is what's going to equate to really poor coverage on our print. Now at 20 PSI, we cleared our screen perfectly. No ink held up in it. Another thing, when you're using nice sharp squeegee and you have the right pressure and speed and your flood is complete going past your image, is you should be able to take your hand, go across that screen, and pick up very little to no ink residue. That means the squeegee is doing its job. It's not leaving ink on the screen, it's putting it where it needs to be, and that's on your garment. So there you have your basic print head setup on an M&R Cobra E press. This equates to actually all M&R's presses that are out there, because all the functionality is genuinely all the same. Remember to like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if there's any ideas or anything you'd like to see on a video or questions you want us to answer, leave it in the comments. And for more information on M&R equipment, visit gogsg.com, and thanks for watching.